So this lens is considered nifty. I need to find out more. So if you're like me and you've purchased your first full-frame camera on a tight budget, you might be left with a dilemma as to which lenses you might be able to afford. When I first got my Sony a7 IV, I started with the Sigma 28 to 70 millimeter lens, and I've been quite happy with it. But the going advice on YouTube is to purchase what they call a nifty 50. Pretty much every brand has an inexpensive plastic 50 millimeter lens that usually starts around f1.8. So when I first started to research these 50 millimeter lenses, I had heard that the image is more crisp, being a prime lens, than what you would get in a zoom lens. And many of the reviewers also said that at f1.8, you can blur out the background quite nicely. I was a little skeptical to get a 50 millimeter lens because I didn't really want to take it out and be limited to 50 millimeters. I've become accustomed to the versatility of the 28 to 70 millimeter lens. I could use a 28 millimeters to get pictures of buildings if I was out on a trip, and I was able to zoom in with the 70 millimeters to get nice portraits. Since I have a Sony a7 IV, I decided to get their Sony 50 millimeter lens that starts at 1.8, and it's less than $200, and it only weighs 186 grams. And as you can see, it's relatively compact. Mine's been beat up a little bit because I've taken it all over the place, but it really is light. But when I first tried out my Sony 50 millimeter lens around the house, taking portraits of my cats, Addie and Ruthie, I was pleasantly surprised at exactly how crisp the eyes were. The color was more intense, and like some of the reviewers said, the backgrounds just melt away. And at least for pet photography, this was an upgrade from the zoom lens. I'm not saying that the f2.8 on the zoom lens creates a bad image at all, far from it, but this really blew me away. I was skeptical though to take out the 50 millimeter lens on any kind of an outing, limiting myself to 50 millimeters, but I found out to my surprise that not only can you take architectural photos, you can also take some amazing landscapes. And if you're too close to your subject, you can always back up. You can use your feet to zoom. It's true what they say. So the other advantage of the aperture being able to open to f1.8, besides blurring out the background, is that it's able to take really great photos in low light. My house doesn't have a lot of natural light, so this has been a real lifesaver. The only issues that I found with the Sony 50 millimeter lens is that the build is cheap and plastic like I would have expected, but also the focus motors are quite noisy. I'm going to try to put this close to the microphone so you can hear the motors. It might not be the best for video. Don't get me wrong, I adore the video that this produces. I've used it a lot for the cat's TikTok channel, Ruthie and Addie Cat. But when you can pick up a lens for under $200 that makes such gorgeous images, you really can't go wrong, especially if you're on a tight budget. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.